Good morning, Grandma Susie again. Are you ready for chapter 3 of The Borrowers? We just found out that Mrs. May is telling a story to Kate about the story her brother told her about the borrowers that lived in their house. So we're going to go on to chapter 3 and see what happens. You can see it. Chapter 3. Sighing, Arrietty put away her diary and went into the kitchen. She took the onion ring from Homily and slung it lightly around her shoulders, while she foraged for a piece of razor blade. "Really, Arrietty?" exclaimed Homily. "Not on your clean jersey. Do you want to smell like a bit bucket? Here, take the scissor." Arrietty stepped through the onion ring as though it were a child's hoop and began to chop it into segments. "Your father's late," muttered Homily again, "and it's my fault, as you might say. Oh dear, oh dear. I wish I hadn't—" "Hadn't what?" asked Arrietty, her eyes watering. She sniffed loudly and longed to rub her nose on her sleeve. Homily pushed back a thin lock of hair with a worried hand. She stared at Arrietty absently. "Is that a teacup you broke?" she said. "But that was days ago," began Arrietty, blinking her eyelids as she sniffed again. I know. It's not you, it's me. It's not the breaking that matters. It's what I said to your father." "What did you say to him?" "Well, I just said, 'There's the rest of the service.' I said up there, where it always was, in the corner cupboard in the schoolroom." "I don't see anything bad in that," said Arrietty, as one by one she dropped the pieces of onion into the soup. "But it's a high cupboard," exclaimed Homily. "You have to get up by the curtain. And your father, at his age—" She sat down suddenly on a metal-topped champagne cork. "Oh, Arrietty, I wish I'd never mentioned it." "Don't worry," said Arrietty. "Papa knows what he can do." She pulled a rubber scent bottle cork out of the hole in the water pipe and let a trickle of scalding drops fall into the tin lid of an aspirin bottle. She added cold and began to wash her hands. "Maybe," said Homily, "but I went on about it so. What is a teacup? Your Uncle Hendry never drank a thing that wasn't out of a common acorn cup, and he's lived to a ripe old age and had the strength to emigrate. My mother's family never had nothing but a little bone thimble, which they shared around. But it's once you've had a teacup, if you see what I mean." "Yes," said Arrietty, drying her hands on a roller towel made out of a surgical bandage. "It's that curtain," cried Homily. "He can't climb a curtain at his age. Not by the baubles." "With his pin he could," said Arrietty. "His pin? I led him into that one too. Take a hat pin, I told him, and tie a bit of name tape to the head, and pull yourself upstairs. It was to borrow the emerald watch from her bedroom for me, to time the cooking." Homily's voice began to tremble. "Your mother's a wicked woman, Arrietty. Wicked and selfish, that's what she is." "You know what?" exclaimed Arrietty suddenly. Homily brushed away a tear. "No," she said wanly. "What?" "I could climb a curtain." Homily rose up. "Arrietty, you dare stand there in cold blood and say a thing like that." "But I could. I could borrow. I know I could." gasped Homily. "You wicked heathen girl! How can you speak so?" She crumpled up again on the cork stool. "So it's come to this," she said. "Now, Mother, please," begged Arrietty. "Now, don't take on." "But don't you see, Arrietty?" gasped Homily. She stared down at the table at a loss for words, and then at last she raised a haggard face. "My poor child," she said, "don't speak like that of borrowing. You don't know, and thank goodness you will never know." She dropped her voice to a fearful whisper. "What's it like upstairs? What it's like upstairs?" Arrietty was silent. "What is it like?" she asked after a moment. Homily wiped her face on her apron and smoothed back her hair. "Your Uncle Hendry," she began, "Eglantina's father—" And then she paused. "Listen," she said. "What's that?" Echoing on the wood was a faint vibration, the sound of a distant click. "Your father!" exclaimed Homily. "Oh, look at me! Where's the comb?" They had a comb, a little silver 18th century eyebrow comb from the cabinet in the drawing room upstairs. Homily ran it through her hair and rinsed her poor red eyes, and when Pod came in, she was smiling and smoothing down her apron. What are some things you think maybe the borrowers have taken from you? It seems like they have taken a lot of things from this home over the years, and makes me wonder, what are some of the things that I have thought I lost, but maybe were taken? We'll see you next time for Chapter 4. Bye-bye.